As usual, here at the custom shop, we're doing the big SEMA crunch, trying to get some cars built up so that we can have them out of the SEMA show. This particular one is a 1938 Chevy Pickup we're building for Larry Massengill. Be on display at the Sony booth. It's pretty radical street rod, pro touring kind of combination, 1,000 horsepower big block, 488 motor with a VDS blower. We did a flip forward hood so that way you can kind of reveals all the stuff underneath of the hood, but big thing with Larry, he really wanted to keep everything under the hood so that way when it was closed up you really didn't know what was under it until you fired it up. Exterior wise, we've got Auto-Air Colors water-based paint on this truck. We did a pearl flame job, which is kind of like the real fire, but I did it in blue just because it's not the traditional, yellow-orange kind of flame. So I wanted something a little different. A lot of the body mods are just, so extensive on this. Altered wheelbase, 4 inches, chopped top, which is the typical. We did build a custom cowl induction center on the front of the hood, build custom hood sides. Headlights are V-Rod Harley Davidson headlights. The side vents are kind of Jaguar inspired. Just wanted more of a little bit of a modern flair on that. Suicide doors. We did build a extension between the bed and the cab to kind of make them look like they're all one piece. Widened and lengthened the running boards. Ran the Super Trap exhaust out the side. That way we could give the thing a really slammed look. Went with the big Mickey Thompson monster meat tires, 18 inches wide, 29 inches tall with Bill of Specialty 20 by 14 wheels. The car's on air ride. Most of the air ride's all custom built, and we hid all the via air compressors, and we did a chrome storage tank up underneath on the bottom of the frame. That way you wouldn't see any of the, the air ride stuff cluttered up on the outside of the truck. Did custom wood in the bed, and I actually pearl flamed the wood inside the bed, so that way it'd give it a little bit extra than just the average wood in the bed. Mini tubbed it, whatever you want to call it, just so we could get those big 18-inch wide tires underneath of there. Just a lot of smoothing and got rid of the seams and stuff as much as we could, but we stayed with the stainless steel fasteners just to kind of give it more of a mechanical effect. Being it's an old truck, I kind of wanted that, still that ruggedness of the steel fasteners and stuff like that. But we did go to polished button heads. One of the things that's kind of neat on this is we did do a motorized hood, so that way you flip a switch, the hood goes up and down. That way he can show off the motor without actually having to, get out of the car. And then we also did some lights underneath of there, so that way it kind of glows out blue, kind of like the blue fire that's on the outside. Did also neat little motorized on the air intake there for him. Little touches like that. When we Frenched in and smoothed all the glass so that way you didn't have the big bulky rubber moldings around the windshield, and tried to keep it more clean and more modern. Well, on the interior you can see we did the ultra leather on the door panels. Tried to add a little bit of chrome and fancy design to the door panels themselves. Did the contactors at the bottom. That way we don't have any wires in the jamb. I did the ISS seats that Trent's Trick Upholstery stitched the seats up for us. Kind of came up with the idea of doing the little chrome insert, and he stitched them up, did a real nice job. The rest of the interior we kind of did fiberglass molded pieces around the seats, headliner and stuff like that. Mercedes-Benz carpet. Definitely gives it much more of a richer modern car look. Billet column. A lot of those kind of things. Digital Dakota, all digital dash. But a lot of the stuff you see right now I'll probably have to rework a little bit as it's going to be on display for Sony out of the SEMA show. So we're going to tear some of this stuff out and upgrade it with some nice Sony audio video equipment for them. Well, it's nice that the 38 Chevy's pretty much finished other than the Sony audio install. But we only got a few more weeks till SEMA, and we've got another project over here we're trying to get finished up. This is a 1967 Camaro Rs that we're building up. It's going to be on display for Firestone ride-right suspension, and we're trying to build more of a budget-minded muscle car pro touring project out of this one. It's going to be high-tech looking, but still on a budget, so you don't have to spend a fortune to build a muscle car, but at the same time you can have one that still looks like you spent a fortune on it. Some of the people might notice that the lower valance is definitely not a stock 67 piece. I really like the 69 headlight and lower valance combination, so we actually took and modified a 69 valance and molded and grafted that into a 67 valance. That way I still get the pod look that I want, but it's still a 67 front clip. Then from there, after we got all the body work and everything done, we went into the paint job, which is DuPont Hot Hues paint. I went with a nice clean silver pearl and white bottom. I kind of wanted the traditional RS rally striping, but I kind of twisted that up a little bit with some detail, real fire in there. I was really going for the detailed stripe down the side. You can see my little twist of the original RS stripe, running down the side and down the front. Trying to, there again, kind of keep it Camaro styled. Did a lot of detail shading, pinstriping and highlighting and shadowing that gives the car that extra high-tech look. And it didn't really take a lot of extra time. It's just a couple more stages to create that effect. Here we did a little fender vent on the front of the fender to give it a little bit more of a modern Cadillac feel. We didn't get into shaving the door handles or anything like that. We just kept the body a little bit simpler. We did get rid of the drip rail around the window, and we also flushed all the glass, so we're getting rid of the molding around the edges of the glass, front and back, which gives it a little bit cleaner look. There's not a ton of body mods, but we did do a light restoration, I guess I'll call it, replacing the rusty parts that were on the car. We did do mini tubs in the back from Detroit Speed, so that way we can put the bigger tires and wheels underneath the back. New tail panel section, new quarter panels. So a light restoration. The car was in really good shape. I picked this car because it was a pretty solid car to start with, so I know we wouldn't have to do a ton of work. And there are some of these cars out there, you just got to dig a little deeper for them, but there's a few out there yet that you can pick up at a reasonable price. As you can see in the paint detail, I did airbrush ProCharger on the side of the cowl of the hood because we are installing a ProCharger supercharger onto a basically stock 454 Chevy big block motor. There again, kind of going with the budget-minded, high horsepower combination. It doesn't cost you a whole lot to get a base big block, so we're going to take the ProCharger blower, do a blow-through carbureted system, and see if we can get a good amount of horsepower out of it without having to spend a ton of money just building a base motor. With the ProCharger, you should be able to get some pretty good horsepower with just simply a basic bolt-on application and a nice blow-through carburetor. Inside the car here, you can see that I did extend the graphic from the outside around the inside, as the 67 does have the painted upper portion of the door card. So I thought it'd be nice to wrap around the graphics so that you can see them from the inside. It adds a little bit more detail. And then from there, we're going to do rod doors, door panels, and I'll upholster that so that way this will all kind of flow with the exterior colors of the car. We're contemplating doing a set of 05 GTO bucket seats and rear seats. Still working around with whether the dimensions and everything will be right. I just set this one in the back just right now just to kind of get a rough idea whether it's going to work. A little bit of modifications. I think we can probably get it grafted in there and it'll still look like OEM installation. This car is also getting some Sony mobile audio installation. One of the things that my plan is to graft in their new navigation system, where it'll be molded into the top of the dash pad here, so that way it'll look a little bit more like a factory high-end installation of a navigation system, but it'll also still be removable, so you'll be able to unclip this and take this with you anywhere you want to go. As of today, it's beginning October. You can see we still have a ton of work to do to get this car finished for SEMA. With less than a month to go, still got a lot of things to wrap up, a lot of interior, a lot of suspension, a lot of engine stuff. Hopefully we'll be able to get it wrapped up and have it on display out at the Firestone Ride Right suspension area, and you guys can come out there and check it out.